Business is the continuation of discussion on the application for the First Fourth Parade, which we received at the work session with, and I postponed to this meeting because of the absence of information, and we'll now discuss it. Do you want to present it, Mr. Mayor? No? Okay. Okay.
Sure, if you want. I know it doesn't say it on the application, but the application was, all applications for all events are supposed to be 90 days. It does not say it on there. I'm aware of that. It did, I believe, say it on the old application, which we had a discussion about this morning. Just offhand, we would need for that parade 4 officers for overtime, at $60 an hour, and I believe, I forget the number we said this morning. It would cost us
$1,200.
yeah, $1,200 with that and the and other costs involved with this. So, we don't have the manpower at the moment to actually, because schedules are already made. And it's 4th of July weekend. I don't know that we have the officers to cover it.
Okay, and the recommendation from the chief was that we were unable to handle this parade. That's correct. Okay, so does council have any comment?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a shame. The First Fourth was always a good event in town, and I guess I questioned historically how do we handle the police protection for the First Fourth?
Well, I believe all the parades, the borough picks up the cost of the police. So, and we could do that, but I don't know that we have the manpower.
I don't think that's accurate.
No.
The borough doesn't necessarily pick up the cost, and in fact, in this case, we probably would pass on the cost were the application approved. So okay. the roughly $1,200 cost would be assessed to the event, the provider of the event, unless we were to waive it. That was the police. There was a police committee meeting this morning, and Dennis and Julia and Bob and I were all there. I think the chief's central concern was that there was short notice for this event. It was proposed to be held on July 2nd, and he doesn't have the manpower available. He schedules 90 days out or more, and doesn't think he can provide the necessary police protection for that weekend. And we talked a little bit philosophically about the concept of the First Fourth. I think was designed to not be on the 4th, to take the pressure off of the 4th. In this case, the first Saturday falls on the 2nd, which is, and when the 4th is on Monday, making Saturday the 2nd really as bad as July 4th and maybe even worse for an event of that nature. So it was the police chief's recommendation that we not proceed with this event on July 2nd. Is that a fair summation?
Yeah, I think that's what
Okay. Okay, so I believe in this case we should probably have a motion. Yeah. So may I have a motion to deny the request for the First Fourth Parade?
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion by council?
So I guess I'm trying to figure this out. Bob's mouthing something. What to say, Bob?
Well, I think the issue number one is that all applications need to be the chief needs 90 days to schedule, because that's how far out he schedules his department. So this application was not put in. He did not have 90 days for it. So therefore, the officers that he could conceivably schedule to do this event, it's too close to the event for him to be able to gather the officers for it. So that's his primary concern, that he couldn't do that. The second, of course, then the second question is, if we were to approve this event, then I know the applicant was asking to have his costs waived, and this is a $1,200 cost just for police coverage for this event. And the question would then be, does council wish to spend that money for this particular event? So obviously, the first question is, do we approve or do we not approve of the event? The chief has recommended that we not approve it. Does the applicant wish to be heard?
Good evening, Paul Salvatore, 148 North Elm Avenue, member of the Parade Committee. I have, introduce yourselves.
George Wilson, 451 South State Street.
Marla Gordon, 136 North State.
So as we understand it, even though the application didn't say that it had to be 90 days, we're being held to the 90-day rule. Okay, we did fill out the application. So an application that doesn't have all the information, now we're going to get punished for. Okay? Now, the other question is, if we move the date to the next week, does that make a difference with vacation time? Because obviously, 4th of July weekend you couldn't do, but that wouldn't be the 4th of July weekend, would it? Throw it back at council. What do you think?
90 days out.
But your rules, you know, from what I'm understanding, we're looking for a compromise here. The chief said because of vacation in the 4th of July weekend and everybody wanting to be off.
I believe that was part of the issue. Issue number one is it's not 90 days out, so in any case, he schedules his men 90 days out.
And what we're asking is if we change that to the non-holiday weekend, does that change?
It's still not 90 days out, and he schedules 24/7 for his police department. So it's, and on top of it, it was the selection of the second. But the most crucial issue was it's not 90 days out. So he can't require his police force to come in on that day.
Any parade that came in or any request that came in that was less than 90 days would have had to been rejected.
He has the option of recommending that.
I'm just curious. You know, I'm just curious. But like I said, you know, we're willing to look to move it to the next weekend. But if obviously that's not the case here, and so we're just, you know, heading up a dead-end street. It looks like.
So if we stick to the 90 days and you apply tomorrow, then you would be having your parade on August 11th.
Well, that's okay, because your little paper that we filled out, and I filled out twice, didn't say anything about 90 days. And you know, I'm sorry, if you're going to hold somebody's feet to the fire of 90 days, you should let them know in your application it's 90 days. Not that, oh, by the way, it's 90 days, sorry. But that's fine.
That's helpful information.
Yeah, I mean,
Planning a parade.
we'll just make other plans, so.
In previous years, we've always come in June at this time or even later, and I've never had a problem. This is the first time we've ever heard of 90 days approval. I mean,
Always been.
but
And
it doesn't
we-
say
and we
that.
put a
And
new
if we're not
form.
told that and it doesn't say that, then how do we know?
Mayor, that's fine. You know, so, and when we won't hold the first, fourth parade in August, so that's no problem. Thank you.
Okay. So are you withdrawing your application or a vote? Okay. All right. Any further discussion on council?
I just think, I don't know, I understand the chief's recommendation, but at the same time, it's nice to have an event in town celebrating the 4th of July. So,
There are probably other ways to have an event to celebrate the 4th of July does not involve closing streets and having the police out. I mean, there are ways of doing that. We had events last year that weren't parades but were very nice. So it's not to say that we can't have a 4th of July event. It's just that in order to have a parade that closes streets and requires the police, has to be scheduled out far enough for him to be able to provide the manpower. That's his concern.
okay.
All right. Okay. All right, I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor of this would be denying the application for the first 4th parade. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so that's 3 ayes, 2 nays. Motion carries.